Oh, hello, testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good here.
Awesome. How's it going since we last spoke?
Good.
Awesome. How many did you book any calls from that?
No, I had a couple of conversations going. One of the people that I was interacting with is actually a new to the business financial advisor. So he is working with a firm. Can't think of New Mountain or something. He's working with a firm. He has a couple of candidates on the line. But we're going to have a chat on Thursday to see if going forward there's any opportunity to work together with his new clients. So I thought that was better than nothing. I was just checking LinkedIn as the call went live actually, but there's no there were a few others dead in the water. You know, when you get to the point, oh, who does your bookkeeping? Oh, actually, my husband's spouse, I have one on staff, you know, that kind of thing. But it was a good practice. It was a good practice.
Oh, awesome. So that's really good. So yeah, because I know we had a couple of conversations. Out of all the people that you messaged or that you had on your connection list, how many of those people did you message so far?
I reached out to all the people in the US. It was like 110.
Cool.
And I
And
just
how
kind of
many
copied and
responses?
pasted.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
had let me see, hold on. Notifications. Just checking my messages while we speak. Here we go. So I had one, two, three, four, five, 6 responses. Or actually one
Seven.
has come in recently. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool.
Yeah. So I'll get back to these after the call.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, cool. So then what we're gonna do next is how many of the homework steps were you able to kind of get through?
So I did I redid my LinkedIn last night. I revamped it based on Eileen. I sent you my intro,
Mhm.
or shared it with you by email. Shared a link
Yeah.
with you from Sparkly Hippo, and that was, let me see what else. And I was just watching the where's my document? I was just watching the beginning of the 6-figure sales videos. I just watched the intro, then I was just watching Eileen's vet proposal on Zoom. She's very easy to underestimate, isn't she, Eileen?
Hmm.
She like what she had, like what there are a few things I would do, you know, differently from my personality, but it's a really robust proposal.
Yeah. So the proposal does most of the work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny because I'm not particularly, I mean, she has a couple of nice little images in there, which I thought, oh, that's a nice touch. Because mine's like, well, hers is heavy on the words because it needs to be, but that was a nice little touch, a couple of the little images she had in there. Let me just find
Okay.
my thing.
So I'm looking through your letter. If you could on the CPA letter add a picture of
Okay.
yourself. This one didn't have it, but the bottom one did. Um
Yeah,
yeah.
will do.
All right, cool. Mhm. Yeah, so I'll just add a picture to that, and then what we can do is I assume you're already in a bunch of like Facebook groups, right? It's like business owners. Then the computer froze. Hey, Lizzie, testings. Can you hear me? Hey. Yeah, I think the thing dropped. Hey, Lizzie, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
Hey,
How are you?
congratulations on the new cleanups.
Yeah, some small ones, but making progress, so that's good.
That's good. Yeah, and tell me a little bit more about like how you got them. Was just through Instagram?
Yeah, so one of them was through Instagram. She messaged me and was like, "Hey, because I just started following people, following them and sending them a message, hey, how's it going?" Um, and she just reached out to me saying, hey, I saw you on Instagram and wanted to reach out and see if you could help me out. I'm overwhelmed, blah, blah, blah. And then hopped on a call with her. It was a quick 15-minute call, and she was pretty adamant about just like getting started and getting the ball rolling. So sent her a quote of how much the cleanup would be for a year. She's a really small account. She only had like 100 transactions for the year, really small.
The year, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm doing her cleanup, and then we're gonna have she's continuing services after that for a monthly contract.
That's good.
And then
That's
the
good.
other
That's good.
cleanup I got was they were actually a previous client that I had set up their books back in February of last year, and just set them up, sent her on her way. And then I reached out to her again and was like, hey, just wanted to check back, see how it's going, see if you were, able to keep up with the books. How are your books looking? And she messaged back and was like, yeah, I didn't do anything.
Okay. Awesome. So my question is, so now that you're kind of in flow this week, how many more Instagram connection requests you sending per day?
I'm kind of just, I've been so busy this week that I haven't really been on. But I'm trying to do at least like 100 a week, just finding local clients, trying to just follow them, send them a message, follow, send a message, follow, send a message, like just over and over and over.
Awesome. Okay, so about 100 a week. That's not bad. If you get more time, if you could like expand that, or what you could do is you could set your searches for just bigger types of companies,
Okay.
right? Because you know it's generally going to be a numbers game. So if you're going to be not having as high a volume and it's a numbers game, we want to make sure that once that number actually falls, it's a big person.
Okay.
So that's what I'd go. So like if you see like if you have the option between a life coach versus like someone who owns like, you know, a nonprofit or a construction company,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna go with the construction only.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did have a
Awesome.
question that I've been thinking about this week.
Yeah.
How would you go about raising prices? Because now I have this, the pricing calculator that you gave me, but I have a client specifically that is on hourly, and they've been with me since I started a year ago, and I was charging them $40 an hour. But I've had them for a year, and now I want to raise the prices on her. She's getting really needy. So, like, I swear I have like 10 emails from her a day. Like,
Uh-huh.
and
So a
I'm
couple
running
ways
the
you can
clock
do.
every time she emails me, of course, but I don't know if I should raise the hourly or try and switch her to, see what comes up with the pricing calculator and try to switch over to that.
Okay. So a couple things you can do. Number one, so you said you've been with her for more than a year.
A year now. I started her last January.
Okay. And then how many hours per week does she give you?
I think total for the month, I have like 10 hours, but I don't reach very many hours. This month is a little bit more. It's going to be more than 10 hours because she decided last minute she wanted me to send out 1099s and all this other stuff. And she's like transitioning to payroll. But when it gets down to actually doing her books, it doesn't take more than 10 hours a month.
Yeah. Do you think that she might end up growing larger in the near coming future?
I mean, I think she's kind of stable where she's at. I know she's going to try and sell the company in the next 2 years or so. But she's been around for 6 years. So she's kind of where she's going to be, I think.
So you can do a couple things. So have you ran it through the pricing calculator already to kind of see what it would be at on a monthly?
I have, and it's like almost double what I've been charging her now,
Almost
which is
double?
also what's making me realize that I'm way undercharging her.
Yeah. So with that one, if it's been a year, you might see about having a conversation with her about raising it. So I would probably do about 1.5, what you're charging right now.
What,
So
I'm
if the
sorry?
pricing calc 1.5 times what you're charging her, because if the
Okay.
pricing calculator is saying double, it might be hard to go from like $400 to $800 a month without having like
Yeah.
an explanation for it, right? So you might want a 1.5 exit.
Okay.
So if it's supposed to be $800 a month, maybe do like $600 a month,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then
Mm-hmm.
next time you have that discussion, maybe 6 months from now, you can raise it up to where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Based on this person's personality and your relationship with them, how frivolous are they with money? Do they just like spend it willy-nilly?
Um, not really. She really is good about just like just a wedding service, and they just like she pays her officiants. She buys, reception supplies. She does kind of go willy-nilly through like her personal expenses, running her personal expenses through the bank account, through the business account.
Yeah. I, I guess what I'm trying to ask is like, does she have the personality type where you can just raise it to the price that you want to charge? Or is she kind of like a frugal person where it's going to be like, oh, well, I need to look at this, I need to factor this thing in, I need to factor this thing in?
I think that if I raised it to like a reasonable or like a not like a sticker shock kind of difference,
Mhm.
she would be just like, okay, yeah, that's understandable. Like if I was thinking like if I went from charging her $40 an hour to $45 an hour, she'd be like, oh, okay, no big deal. Like I get it.
Yeah. I was personally thinking at least 50
Yeah.
was kind of the number I have in my head. Um, but even then, 50 times 10 is only $500, so you're still less than 1.5,
Mm-hmm.
charging it. Probably $50 would be like the goal that we're always trying to do, like our minimum goal. Because if you get 40 hours a week at $50, that's 100K per year,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if we can shoot for 50, that'd be really good.
Okay.
Now, in order to
Yeah, I
land
think
on a 50,
that's what I'm gonna have to shoot for is 50 because I think just she's getting out of hand.
yeah.
She
So
she
so
it's kind of a battle because she doesn't want to make up her mind. She'll be like, oh, can you start doing payroll for me? But then I'll be like, okay, let me do the payroll. Then she turns around and is like, oh no, I'm gonna have somebody else do it. So I feel like I need to set some like more boundaries with her to be like, look, if you need to really figure out the game plan here of who's gonna do this and who's not gonna, it's I don't know, it's getting. Maybe it's just because
so
it's January and this is like the craziest month that everybody's stressed and freaking out and has a million questions, but.
so a couple things you can do. So if you know that she has extra service that she wants, it's going to take, more hours, it might make sense to go hourly. How I would go about the hourly discussion is to overshoot how much you want to actually make. So 50 is
Mhm.
our goal. Maybe we can start off at like 60 or maybe 65. She'll be like, oh, it's way too high. Then you can negotiate down in stair steps until you get to 50.
Okay.
Okay. Second thing is it sounds like you might need to have a re-enrollment call with her. So when I say a re-enrollment call, what I would be thinking was like, hey, why don't we go out to lunch, maybe like 15, 20 minutes, maybe on like a Saturday, and have a new sales call and say, okay, so these are the new services that I think we need to add, and blah, 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 blah. See what the game plan is, see if you can add on some more services. So when we have our higher rates, we can be able to get paid more and actually get a little bit closer to that number that we're shooting for.
Mhm.
Does that
Okay.
kind of make
I'm kind
sense?
of, yeah, that makes sense. Cause I do need to have a phone call with her to really determine like what is going on. Cause she's just changing a lot of things in her business recently. But if I wanted to just kind of do a flat, cause I'm also wanting to do just flat rates across the board now with all of my clients. Um, so I think maybe I'll look into what you said, the 1.5.
You could actually do both. Like there is no right or wrong answer. You can say, okay, so there's two options that I see and that most of my clients have done. We can either do this, which is $600 a month, or we can do this.
Okay.
And then she'll be able to choose whether she wants to go the hourly route or whether she wants to go the flat route. If she wants to go the hourly route, 65, 60, 55, 50. Or if she wants to go the flat rate, oh, we can just do that because I'm expecting my business to grow, and this is going to make sure that you can stay with me for the long term. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a little
Okay.
bit easier when they're already your client because you can kind of have a little bit more weight,
Mm-hmm.
and we can see about influencing them. Whenever she said that like she wants you to do payroll, but then she changed her mind, is that generally in a phone call or is that like an email that she says that?
Email. It's usually
Email.
email. So I'll like
Okay.
follow up and I'll follow up and say, okay, just to confirm and make it very clear, like, all right, we're confirming that I'm not in charge of your payroll. So if that doesn't get run this week, that's not my problem.
Mhm.
You're confirming that this is what is going on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's how I'd handle that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of
Okay.
industry is this client? Or what industry?
I'm sorry.
What industry is this client?
Wedding services.
Oh, you already said that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me or is my audio kind of quiet?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. Awesome. Does that fully answer your questions?
Yes. Thank you. That was
Awesome.
my issue of the week.
I mean, it's a good issue to have.
Yeah.
So, Joanna, were you able to go in and find a good picture to use? One second. I think you're muted, so I can't quite hear you.
It would help if I unmuted myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have the one that I've been using on pretty much everything that's on my various profiles now, which I can
Awesome.
add
Cool.
to the CPA letter. Yeah, so that's an
Not to
easy
the,
fix.
yeah, not to the CPA letter, but to the
Sorry, the intro
to the
letter.
introduction. Yep.
Yeah,
And then if you
yeah.
could, let's post that intro letter into about 5 different Facebook groups per week.
Okay,
If you can preferably do it across industries, that'll be really, really helpful.
okay,
For example, if you make like one post inside of a group for like coaches, and another one in like therapists, another one in like construction workers, another one in um, XYZ company, you can post in a lot more groups. But we like to do about 4 per industry, 4 posts
okay.
per industry. Yeah.
What can you give me some direction? I mean, obviously I can look on Facebook for construction company groups, but like what am I looking for? Am I just going to type in construction, or is it a specific phrase, or is there some better than
Yeah.
others? I
Yeah.
mean,
So a couple things. So there's two resources we have to help you out with that. The first one is I can walk you through like what we're looking for, but then also inside of those training modules, there's actually a video that says how to go and find niche groups and like what to
Ah,
do
okay.
inside of there as well. Yeah,
All right, I'll have a look at that.
cool. Now keep in mind though, in order of which one delivers the easiest results for most people, it generally goes LinkedIn, Instagram, then Facebook groups in terms of like ease and direct to clients.
Okay,
For Facebook group, we're generally going to be just posting an introduction post and then seeing who bites on it and then kind of going from there.
okay.
Okay, cool.
And did you
So
have any, other than the adding the photo, did you have any other feedback on the content of the intrepid? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't
with
sure
those kind of
how much to put in there from a personal perspective. I took your point about, you want to give people a lot of opportunity to connect with you by having a range of bits and pieces that people, oh yeah, that's like me, that's like me. But I didn't want to put too much in there. Um, you know, yeah, okay, good, that's good. So I'll get that, I'll do that this evening.
yeah, like a lot of this stuff is not about it being right or wrong.
Yeah,
It's just like different degrees of effectiveness and like
yeah,
different variations. Because I mean, we're going to be sharing these same posts like probably once every 6 weeks into the same group. So we'll
okay,
just vary it up just a slight bit each time.
okay, okay, cool.
Cool. Awesome. And yeah, we can talk about which groups to go and join. Um, when I'm thinking of a group, actually, let's take a step back. So when we're thinking about who do we want to talk to, who is going to be our ideal client, I'm always looking for who's already hiring contractors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So an easy one is construction. Construction, personally, for me, is my favorite industry. There are
Yeah,
some
it's funny because
drawbacks.
when I was originally thinking of niching, that was one of my go-tos was construction companies. For that very reason, they're in the habit already of outsourcing everything, right? And they're okay with that. They're not used to holding everything to themselves.
Yeah.
But one of the drawbacks is, and I don't know if this is in the US as well, is that the CIS, they have a specific industry schemes that I wasn't familiar with. So that would be, if that is the case, or if it's just, straightforward bookkeeping with a couple of tweaks, and that's fine.
There's a couple
Yeah,
of tweaks,
elusive
yeah.
money. Yeah,
Couple of tweaks, but generally for me, my thing is always we get our foot in the door and get the money, figure the rest out later.
I'm with you there. I'm
Yeah,
with you there.
like a lot of people like when they're starting, like they're really afraid that if they don't do this perfect job when
Yeah.
the person comes on, like they're just gonna get fired, they're not gonna make any money. Give me one second, I forgot to live stream this thing. And they think like it's gonna be the end of the world. Oops, that's the wrong one. We don't want that. Oh no. Oops. Okay, no live stream today. We're on the wrong profile. But okay, cool. So, but okay, so when it comes to cons with construction workers, they are a little bit crass in their language,
Yeah, well, I'm not
can
shy about
be
that.
jerks at times.
Yeah,
But when it comes to like pros, this is the main reason. They are so
yeah.
loose with money. They don't respect it, they don't care about it. We have guys in
I guess
the
because they
next
always
level up
know
in
they'll
this.
get more, right?
Yeah, especially when you're getting like, $500,000 loans per property for on the
Yeah,
basic. That's only on like the residential side.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
this is money. Bad with
Yeah.
details. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it
Are
is. Yeah.
technologically
Weak. Yeah.
mhm, need payroll if you offer it.
Yeah.
Can also do admin services as well.
Yeah.
Okay, another good industry. So here's another industry that I really like as well. Non-profit.
Yeah, I've heard you
Not
mention that a few times.
Yeah, not necessarily churches. A lot of people, when I say nonprofit, think I'm talking about like churches. Those can be kind of hit or miss. Um, Pros of these: high growth, cash infusions,
Yeah.
per night, cons, hard to determine who's going to grow.
Mm. Do they tend
Right?
to have a
So,
clear structure as to who signs off on stuff or who makes decisions?
um, it depends. Like sometimes that could be a con too. Sometimes
Mm.
they need to run it by the board.
Mm.
Sometimes they run it by the board. Um, can get trapped in poverty,
Mm.
right? Because like with
Yeah, never enough,
nonprofits,
never enough. Yeah.
well, not even that. It's like nonprofits either like they suck and they don't make any money, and it's just like they're like a starving artist, or they hit a 500, a million plus because
Yeah.
they have really good donors and because they get good grants. So it's not a huge amount of like in between.
Mm.
They either have budget or they don't have budget,
Okay.
right? And for the ones that don't necessarily have budget, they sometimes get stuck in that zone for way longer than what they have to be, especially if they don't know how to run a business. They're just someone who like just feels passionate about
Yeah,
something.
bleeding heart type. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you get other ones where it's like they're making huge amounts of money, they're changing the world, they're feeding people in multiple countries. So it's just like there's just a
Yeah.
big jump. Um, another good example would be like solar, similar to construction. Another good one is staffing. Staffing is hit or miss. Hits or miss for Bryce. Great for Melissa Hilliard. Like she loves getting clients like that. Right. And she generally gets really high value coach in place like that because they're used to hiring out employees, because they're used to hiring out temporary people, like because they're used to doing it. I used to think
Oh,
for a
so when you
long time
when you
that they
say staffing, you're like resource or temp agencies. Is that what you mean?
yeah, it can be temp agencies, it can be yeah, about temp agencies are pretty much another one is like investment companies, real estate investors are another good one. Um yeah, these are who I'd actually be going after if I had no other choice. Another good one
Okay.
is their practices. We'll say they're called actually
Okay.
therapy practice. Therapy. Cool. This is who I'd be going after.
Okay. I'll do another LinkedIn search and see who responds. At the same time, look for groups for those on Facebook.
Yes. Have you the one thing that I recommend is as you're going down your instructions list, then go and get Sales Navigator, because then when you type in construction, you can do, I think I'm logged into my account on this profile, but let me see. You can do a way deeper search.
Okay, I'll do that this evening.
Okay, so for like example, this is what Sales Navigator looks like for me. And I can keep filtering down
Just,
based
can you make it
on
bigger?
on the top of the screen. Oh, one
So I
sec.
can see the notepad, but I can only see the messenger scripts right down the
Oh,
bottom.
that's
Yeah, there we
I
go.
had my screen paused. Can you see it now?
Yeah,
Okay. All right, so you can go and choose based on like who you actually want to speak to, like who are the top dogs. I think you say that the states that you have either known of or that you have a close relationship to is, you said Atlanta, Georgia.
yeah, probably be my first bet.
What about, you said your company is um
Registered in
formed in,
Delaware.
yeah. Does it have like a physical, like, do you like a PO box in Delaware or something too?
Yeah, the registered agent does, yeah, is a proper address.
Oh. There's 6,000 people right there in
Oh yeah,
Atlanta,
that's a nice
Georgia.
pickings. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Even if you want to do
That'll keep
someone
me
in like
busy
the
for a bit.
UK, yeah. Even if you
And
want to
would
do
you
someone
would you
inside,
go for the top dog in each company, or would you look for um like you go for the owner, I'm thinking, right? You wouldn't look for, I don't know, you wouldn't
yeah,
reach out if they were worked for
yeah.
so and so.
So that's why having like this seniority level tab is going to be really, really
Oh, I
key.
see.
Right?
Ah,
You can
gotcha.
choose the
Okay.
owner, even business partner. I mean, because even inside of like, well, let's, how far away are you from London?
Um, a good 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
Okay. Where's the next major city near you?
The next biggest city to me is Bristol or Bath.
I can't spell Bristol. Bristol.
OL, yep. And Bath like bathtub. Cardiff is close to me too. They're about an hour and a half away.
So a lot less in there, but still about, actually, no, it's about 21,000. So it's actually more than Atlanta had, because Atlanta's just a city.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have tons of options. It might be easiest at first if you go after someone who's in the UK,
Okay.
just because they're down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also why we talked about maybe having two LinkedIn accounts. You can have one LinkedIn account attacking like the UK, one
Yeah.
LinkedIn account attacking the United States, and then you can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Does that kind of answer your questions about who to go after and what we're really looking
Yeah.
for? Okay. And then also where to put kind of our focus in terms of outreach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me make a Google document real quick so I can share it with you.
Okay.
Lizzie, do you have any questions about this part too?
No, it's just getting
For Lizzie.
oh, sorry.
No, I'm good on this part. Thank you.
Well, what are your favorite industries that you go after?
I really enjoy salons. If I can, book with them, I love working with them. I did remember working with a construction company when I was working at firms, and they were always pretty good to work with because they were just really, like you mentioned, they're just throwing money everywhere. They're like, yeah, sure, here, do all my stuff and call it a day.
Yeah.
But salons for sure are probably one of my favorites.
Okay. Wait, what kind of salons? You said hair salons?
Yeah, like hair salons.
Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay. Um, hmm. And then where are you located again? You said Texas?
Yeah, I'm in Austin, Texas.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, hair salons are nice. Their books are fairly, straightforward. And a lot of the time, or all of them really, they use kind of a different software where they receive all their payments through, that you can just log into, makes everything super clean cut and easy.
Okay. And says note down. LinkedIn. Mailers. Direct relationships. The one thing too, Joanna, that I would stress above anything else is if you can go back to your past relationships and get like the CPA or chartered accountants or anyone to let you subcontract, like I can't stress this enough.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first thing we always do. Cool.
Yeah, I am. Well, prior to the call, my task this evening was to go through all my Facebook connections and see who had businesses and then reach out to them. Off the top of my head, I only know one chartered accountant, but she's always worked for a firm, maybe two. But I just don't know what people do, to be fair. So I'll go and have a look.
Cool. Yeah, and remember when it comes to like the direct relationships, any person is game. So for example, this one lady who came through the program, she got her first higher ticket client from not even ex-boyfriend, but just like someone she went on like a date with like 3 years ago. And then hit the person
Okay.
back up. I was like, hey, what are you doing nowadays? And he goes, oh, I run this like real estate investing thing. And then he pays her like $3,000 a month.
Oh, it sounds good.
Cool. Cool. Awesome. All right, cool. Any other questions real quick?
No, that's it from me.
Okay. We go through some of your I saw you come off mute, Lizzie. Anything?
I do have something. So I have another client. They are looking to, okay, so he's kind of a lot. I've known the family for a long time. They own a bunch of restaurants. So when I started working with them, they only had like 2 restaurants. Now they have 7. They're going to open an 8th one. They're just nonstop growing. They have a CPA now. I've been doing their books in-house, just like he likes to have double of everything. But they're tired of their CPA, and he told me he wants to fire their CPA. So my plan is to tell him to just let me do all of the accounting for all the restaurants, pay me to do it, properly, give me everything that I need, give me the reports that the current CPA has, because the current CPA had been doing them since day one, which was 4 years ago now. And I only started doing it in-house a year ago. But if I can convince him, which I should be able to let me take over the accounting, all the accounting for all the restaurants. And I'm trying to think of like how to charge him for that. Do I want to go in as a W-2 employee? Do I want to stay as a contractor? Because each restaurant every month, their statements are like 400 transactions, 500 transactions a month.
Yeah.
And that's times 7 restaurants.
Wow. And so there's a couple things we can do. How much you currently charge them actually?
Right now they pay me $400 a month per restaurant.
400 per month per restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's
And then
2,800 a month. which is way, I mean, if I took over kind of all the accounting, I would definitely need, they for sure should be paying more. Again,
Yeah.
this is like another one that I started when I went off on my own that I didn't really know what I was doing. So,
Okay. So couple ways you can do this. How much more time do you have in your week right now?
I don't know.
Okay.
To be
Do
honest, I
you
don't know.
do you have
So
do you have
I
like a
do
friend
40-hour
or
week,
like
basically. Yeah. Um, I need to be better about how I'm tracking my time. I have started tracking my time because a lot of clients, I wasn't tracking my time when I charged them, just a set price every month, and I didn't have to track their hours.
Mhm.
So I definitely think I still have an extra 40 hours in there for the month that I could fill up.
Mhm. So the reason why I ask is like, do you have like a friend who maybe can help you with bookkeeping stuff?
I actually do. I have somebody that wants just kind of like a 1 day a week side job. That I said, maybe we can work something out where you come in on Saturday, and they only want to do it Saturdays. So I'm saying like, you can come into my office on Saturdays and kind of do the tedious things that I don't really want to do. And I can show you how to do it that are simple, like just data entry or scanning receipts or something, something simple.
Mhm. The reason why I'm asking this, so this is a slightly different question. So let me say probably what the goal is. So the goal would be to see if we can suck up as many hours as possible, charge hourly, but then not have to you do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So if this lady or this person or your friend only wants to work 1 day a week, that kind of isn't the best for what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, hmm. So if they give you all seven, like, how likely do you think they'd be to give you all seven, even if the CPA like stays?
Well, they're firing the CPA. They don't want the CPA anymore. It's not working out with her. He doesn't like her. She's never responsive. Um, so what I'm thinking is I take on all the bookkeeping and accounting fully. And then when it comes time for, anytime they need taxes or something done, then they just have their tax professional or their CPA, a new CPA that they can go to, that I just send them the reports and everything they need.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Okay, so when's the next time you can speak to this restaurant, either owner or the person who's in charge of like, this decision?
They just today, yeah, they just texted me and asked if I can come down there today.
Oh, okay. So this is very important, okay? So for the next like week and a half, next month, you might have to sacrifice a little bit of free time.
Okay.
Okay. So what you could do, I'm generally trying to shoot for whichever one's higher. So 400 times seven is $2,800 a month. Is that the amount of money that you kind of want, or what is the amount of money that you'd want from this, like in an ideal world?
I think that like timing wise, and I've kind of ran their numbers through the pricing calculator. I mean, each one should be, let me see, what did I do earlier? At least each restaurant should be at least almost $1,000 a month with how much work they're doing, because it's like 400 plus transactions, sometimes like anywhere from 400 to 500 transactions. They only have one bank account. They have zero loans, zero credit cards, super simple. They have a ton of receipts and checks that I have to go through constantly to label and scan and match, which takes up a lot of time. I think each restaurant, honestly, to do the full bookkeeping for them takes about 16 hours each month for each restaurant. So
I guess you could always get your Saturday or whoever person to do all the scanning and receipts, couldn't you?
Yeah,
with the grunt work,
exactly.
because that's icky work. You don't want to do that.
Or the filling in
Mm.
the check information,
Stubs.
like
Yeah, yeah.
on QuickBooks, like putting in the names, they could do that for me as well.
Yeah, that's sucky.
Yeah, which is it's not a difficult account, it's just a lot of tedious work.
Yeah. It's high volume, isn't it? With lots of icky stuff and high volume.
Mhm.
Mm.
And they're
But it could,
growing.
it's a new house in the making, isn't it? If you get
Yeah.
it right.
And I want to get in, this is kind of my opportunity to be like, hey, let me take over the books. Since you want to fire your CPA, you don't have to pay the firm to do it. You pay me to do
Yeah.
it. And then I can connect you with the CPA that'll do your taxes, and you can have your reporting in-house. And whenever, because I know that recently he asked the CPA, like, hey, I need these reports to refinance his house or something. And she didn't get them back to him for like a month. But he asked me
Wow.
for them, and I had them in 2 seconds. So
Oh, that's shiny new. Yeah, that's good.
Mhm.
And to be fair, if they have this much turnover, surely they should have not just a CPA, but a financial advisor too, right? To make sure
Yeah, I'm trying to get them to, they're great friends of mine. I've worked with them for years, but I'm trying to get them to understand that they're growing so much that they kind of need more of an in-house
they need to be a bit
accounting
more
department.
grown up with their money. Yeah.
Yeah, they need more of an in-house accounting department than outsourcing it at this point.
Yeah.
And then do you want to be that person that goes in there?
I would love to be the person that, does the bookkeeping for them all in-house, and they're kind of all over the place. And I love them to death and just want to make sure that they're going in the right direction. But I also want
Yeah.
to make sure that financially it's going to benefit me as well. I have a tendency of saying like, oh yeah, I'll do that. But because I like you as a friend, and then I'm not getting paid properly because,
Yeah, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and then be working 80-hour weeks for nothing, right?
Mhm.
Not why you do this. Hmm.
Exactly.
Okay. So here's an easy way that you can kind of charge a really good monthly price or flat rate
Mhm.
with the relationship that you have now and with being able to expand really quickly. So you could do two ways. You can either do like a per restaurant kind of fee like you're talking about,
Mhm.
but at the current price point you're at, they'd be like, well, why can't we just do the same $400 a month that we're already paying you times 7? It's $3,500 a month. That's okay. Some people, it's their biggest client. If instead we're looking at this, so 16 hours per restaurant times 7 restaurants,
Mhm.
that's actually really good. And what you could do is maybe after like a month or 3 months of doing it hourly, then you can tell them, we can just baseline it at this is the flat monthly price.
Mhm.
So then after that, you can kind of take your foot off the gas and not have to work quite as much. That is one main way that we do encourage people to do it. Or if you can, like, how likely do you think that they'd be that if you said, hey man, like we're totally undercharging, like, can you please give me $700 a month per restaurant? Like they'd be like, yeah, let's do it.
Um, I think that he would be open to that if he understands that I would be doing what the CPA firm would be doing, minus the taxes, like minus filing your taxes for you. Like his sales tax, I can file, and his franchise tax I can file. But, just as far as tax returns goes, because I don't think he understands that when you hire a CPA firm, they have somebody that does the bookkeeping in the firm, and then the CPA just deals with their like tax returns and any tax questions that they have, For him, I think he thinks that I'm just scanning in the receipts every month and keeping them on file for him.
And where are you gonna meet them? Are you gonna meet them at a restaurant, like where you guys can be eating? Is it gonna be just like you guys are like business inside of their office? Like, can you show them actually how much stuff that you do?
Yeah, I'm gonna meet him. I'm gonna go to their restaurant. We always meet at their restaurants.
Okay. How
But
are
I
you
can take
feeling? Do you,
I take my laptop and show him everything.
okay. Yeah, because if you can show them how much work it is,
Hmm.
it's really going to be beneficial to us to be able to do that. So 1/6 times 7, 112, about 112 times.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason he can't afford it. It's just a matter of making sure that I know what, because he's going to tell me, okay, come up with a number and then let me
That's
know.
that's what we're
You
doing
know,
right now.
I already know how his conversation is going to go.
Yeah. So I guess the question that I'm asking you is, do you mind working hourly to flatline it first, or do you want to give him like what's a fair flat rate?
Um, I would want to give him a flat rate because he's going to think like, if you want to do it hourly to figure it out, how do you not know by now what it should be? You know?
Okay, so I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
So I mean, she hourly, we do know what it is, 67.20.
Mhm.
Like that is your number.
Okay.
That's the number that we're shooting for.
Okay. Per
But
month.
based on
Yeah.
the current, yeah, but based on the current way that it's pronounced, if he asks you like to break it down, then it's going to come out, to way more than what you're currently charging him per restaurant.
Mhm. Yeah. And I mean, they're on restaurant number 7, but I know they're already adding a number 8 and a number 9.
Yeah.
They are just popping up left and right. So,
If you
You
take
could
this
you could
on, would you be doing more duties than you are now?
um, I don't think so. It would just be, now I'm kind of just the bookkeeper in the background. So I do everything, but he only calls me when he needs to see something. I don't have like the original tax returns from his first year of business. So I don't have the books that go back 4 years, which I would need. If I took this on, I would say, hey, you know what, your CPA needs to give me all the files that they have, or all the
Yeah.
the QuickBooks file that they have, so I can transfer it over. And they have they have big assets, kitchen furniture or kitchen equipment and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's little details that would need to be kind of up, my game need to be upped, but as far as how much more time it would take, I don't think so. Unless we went into a full accounting department where all the bills for all the restaurants are coming to one spot and being sent out by me. But the restaurants all pay their own bills individually.
Mm. So I was just thinking how you'd go from 400 to 900. I mean, you could say that when you first offered the 400, the duties were less than they are now. You just haven't raised the rate, I guess.
Which
Which
yeah, and
sounds
I'm
like it's
thinking,
true, doesn't it?
yeah, and also when I started, it was my first year starting, going off
Oh,
on
in
my own.
business. Yeah.
Have you ever raised the monthly price on them, and how many years have you been working with them?
Just the year, and no, I've never raised it. If they add
Okay.
a new restaurant, then I add another fee, but that's it.
Mm.
Yeah. Because it's basically going to be like our goal is $900 a store or restaurant,
Okay.
whatever you're calling it,
Mm-hmm.
is minimum.
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of this. Okay,
Well, this
yeah.
makes sense to kind of give you a little bit more confidence in the numbers.
Yeah, I was thinking around 5,500, so that's basically, yeah, it works perfect for me for what I want to
Yeah, because I'm more like in between like 63 and 67, so probably about 6,500.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to be honest, this is weird. Don't tell anyone outside of the program. I've been leaning more towards hourly the longer I'm inside of this program. Like the longer I coached people,
Mm-hmm.
because when I look at the guys already at like 250, for example, like Mike. So he has this one construction company, and the guy just spends money like crazy. So the first thing that we did was I said, okay, cool. So you're charging $125 an hour. Okay, does he have an executive assistant? No. Does he have a bookkeeper? Yeah, he does, but I don't really like her. Okay. So if we can charge at least $40 an hour, it looks like there's gonna be about 3 grand extra for if we bring our own executive assistant. Yeah, okay, cool. And then for the bookkeeper, let's see if we can get her removed. And she was getting paid 4 grand a month, and it was broken down to hourly. So we basically just increased his revenue per client by about $7,000 per month, but he's breaking out hour by hour by hour because the person's like, okay, cool, that doesn't sound like it's that much.
Mm-hmm.
Versus when we do like a flat rate, it's a little bit of more stuff needs to go into it. So it's kind of like the longer that I'm in this and the more like of the higher level people I'm speaking to, it's almost
Mm-hmm.
easier to charge like hourly.
Yeah.
But most people don't like hourly because that means they actually have to like keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't like
So
this like, I don't know, the client not knowing exactly what they're gonna get.
yeah.
I mean, when I was doing hourly, I would give them a range of like, okay, I'll stick within 10 to 15 hours. And if I go over, I'll let you know before I go over. But then it's just, I don't know. It's back and
Yeah.
forth with me, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
I
because
was
you can,
so go ahead.
what were you gonna say, Joanna?
I was going to say that in one of the like I'm new to this, Lizzie, right? So I'm still kind of finding my feet. But one of the justifications I'd heard for a flat rate, which made sense to me, is that if I offer you a flat rate, it includes X number of services. So whether it be like in this scenario, if I give you the flat rate for 6,300, that's 7 stores, X number of transactions per month, so many bank accounts or loans or whatever. If that should change, then your price will increase or reduce depending on which way it changes. But if I'm quoting you for 6,300 a month and it takes me 40 hours, and if I come up with some great innovations where I'm actually only doing 30 hours work, but still producing the same level of activity or providing the same level of service. And that to me makes sense because if I'm always looking for solid shortcuts like automations. And to me, I would shoot myself in the foot charging hourly because the more I know your business, the less hours it takes me to do. If I'm clocking on, clocking
Yeah.
off all the time. And I
Mm-hmm.
think whereas if I said for me personally, okay, as they are today, 2 bank accounts, PayPal, 100 transactions a month, this is the flat rate. And then if it goes up by say 20% or down by 20%, then we can talk again in 90 days, which is kind of how I've structured my proposals up until now, Bryce, is that it's a 90-day review, and it can go either way, but yeah, that's the thinking anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's which is a good thought and stuff. It's just kind of like I'm I'm always worried about the upside. What happens when they're already at 7 restaurants, they keep getting more and more and more? It's kind of like I like being because in the past I've gotten burned by not really thinking about the upside, like what happens when they grow, what happens when everything kind of increases. So that's kind of why I'm like moving more towards the hourly. But if you want to do more the monthly fee, then you can say this. Like you can do your $6,300. And if he ever asks like that, you can also just break it down by hours. Like how many hours it's gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you 16 hours per month per restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So 112. So you have both kind of there. So yeah, so you could try the $700 per I'm sorry, $900 per store. They'll probably say yes. Like they're gonna say yes.
Yeah. And yeah, these restaurants are millions and millions of dollars that they're making.
Yeah, especially
We
since you're
have
still undercharging a little bit.
yeah. See, the thing is with them too, though, is, I mean, which this is going to be easy for me to explain to them, is that their CPA was charging them $400 a month also.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to tell them, like, yeah, they were charging you $400 a month, and then look how that relationship turned out. You fired them. You don't want them anymore. They're not doing the work.
Yeah. It's too much work to be under this kind of amount. It just gets too overwhelming, just takes away from, my ability to be able to do this more effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So yeah, just do it.
Yeah, I think that's a good number to start them off with. And I mean, we can go, I'm sure you'll go back and forth with me on it anyway.
So what you could do is maybe try and do $1,000 per month per restaurant.
Mhm.
If he's gonna hem and haw, you can go and reduce it by like $50 per month per restaurant. You probably have 2 drop downs
Mhm.
and end up at 900.
Yeah.
Because
That's-
like in negotiation, you never want to like haggle on the number, starting on the number you want.
Mhm.
So if you have to, we gotta at least go about $1,000 per store, 7 grand. How do you do when it comes to negotiation? Do you feel like strong or do you get kind of pushed around really easily?
Oh, I don't know. I think it depends on who I'm talking to. Like these, like them, for instance, I'm really comfortable with him, so I'm comfortable negotiating with him.
Is it kind of like one of those guys where or people where you can just kind of joke and be a little obnoxious when you're
Yeah.
proving your points to
Yeah.
okay.
I've been friends with them for 4 years now, and they're really all about like trustworthy employees and trustworthy staff. And I'm like, dude, I think it's
Yeah.
important for them to really just start. And yeah, like you said earlier, growing up in your business, being a grown up with your business now.
Yeah. So okay, dude, let's shoot for $1,000 per month per store. And yeah,
Okay.
he'll probably like you might even overestimate it. He might be like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm
When
gonna
are
do
they
that.
firing that other person?
What was that?
When are they firing the other person?
I think as soon as she wraps up 2021 books, and yeah, they're gonna let her go.
How long before that is like a couple weeks, couple months?
I don't know. I'll ask him when I get there. But yeah, it's a firm that he's been working with for 4 years. So
Okay, it's a firm. All right, cool.
Mhm.
Well, let's go get this money, okay?
That sounds like a plan.
Awesome.
Thank you for your help.
Excellent. You're welcome. Thank you as well, Joanna, for your perspective. It's
Yes,
always great
thank
to have
you.
You're
other
welcome.
people's
It's good to
perspectives as
see.
well.
Yeah, it's good to see the real life versions of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because
Nice
I mean,
problem to
like,
have, though.
yeah,
That is true.
it is a nice problem to have. So I'm super excited for you. Let me know how this thing goes.
Yeah.
Um, and one thing too, don't get offended no matter what the person says.
Mhm.
Because especially if it's like an old timer that they're unsophisticated when it comes to stuff, like he may shoot you like a not discouraging, but just like a uneducated response.
Mhm.
But you need to expect that and then kind of walk him through what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And then also know what is the lowest that you're willing to go for this thing as well.
Okay.
Okay. Just in case just in case they lowball you, like you got to know
Mm,
what is your walk away point.
okay.
Because it sounds like it's your walk away point right now, 400 times 7 is at least, let's say like times at least 4,200 is kind of the walk away point.
Okay. 42. That makes sense. It's like 600 each. Yeah, that's pretty low even.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because exactly at this point for me, it's like either I go all in with you guys and you really pay me to do the job that you are needing and need to get done, or I have to just let you guys go as a client as well, because I can't afford to be investing all this time for $400 a month.
Yeah.
I need to invest that time, elsewhere with finding new clients or whatever it is. Cause I mean, that's, $2,000 a month as of now, but I think in the long run overall, if I have to let them go as a client, then that's just what it is.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's call it the swagger bonus.
Swagger.
Why are you charging me extra money? Because I can't afford to not do this. Like,
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. I can't afford to keep working so much for so little.
yeah. Awesome. So how do you feel? You feel confident about this?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I think this conversation helped a lot, and it was perfect timing because they just text me during this meeting to go over there.
Awesome.
I'd kind of been
awesome,
like planning
awesome.
it in my head because they texted me about a week ago already, letting me
Yeah.
know that what the status was. So
Yeah. And that's the one thing to note too, is like money is not like a real thing.
mhm.
Like people who don't have money, they get really nervous about it and think it's like so much money, but it's like it's not that much money.
Yeah.
It's only 80 grand.
And I mean, they do a lot, so
Awesome.
they have it. They
Well, yeah, of course they have it. And they can get access to it even if they don't have it.
mhm,
People will
mhm,
get a loan to pay you.
mhm.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I have a call in probably about 3 minutes. But yeah,
Okay,
any other questions?
that's it. Thanks so
Cool.
much.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Take care. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good
Have a
luck.
good
Talk
one.
to you.
All right.
I see
Bye-bye.
ya.